It is now my privilege to introduce our Charter Day Convocation speaker, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Now, everyone, I'm going to just take a few moments because this is, it's remarkable to have her here with us. Residents of the District of Columbia, of course, have elected her to the mayorship 3 times. This level of support demonstrates the voters' confidence in her ability to deliver on their behalf, on our behalf. She is also the first African-American woman to be elected to 3 4-year terms as a mayor of a major U.S. city. Now, before she was mayor, she served as an advisory neighborhood commissioner for D.C.'s Riggs Park neighborhood for 2 years, and that was in 2004. Later, she was elected to the D.C. City Council, where she represented Ward 4 for 8 years, serving until 2015 when she became mayor. Now, Mayor Bowser leads a city of more than 700,000 people. She has enhanced the vibrance of our city culturally, economically, socially, making it a place that attracts new residents from the United States and also abroad. She is committed to housing affordability, and her administration surpassed a goal last year of adding 36,000 new housing units by 2025. And more than 15,000 of these were affordable units. She has committed more than $1 billion in city resources to expanding affordable housing for our city, a figure that the district leads nationally on a per capita basis. And under her leadership, the district has renewed economic development efforts that create jobs in high-growth industries. The mayor has brought vitality and investment to small businesses. She's made targeted efforts to increase the number of minority-owned businesses. She has strengthened the small business community through grants, and she has made sure that the government spending is actively supporting their growth. Mayor Bowser's administration is making the District of Columbia a place where tech companies want to do business. I've been joking. We're trying to create a Silicon Valley off of George Avenue here at Howard. She has delivered on a number of substantial development projects that bring also more tourism and culture to our city, including areas with the highest needs, development projects such as Audi Field, Care First Entertainment and Sports Arena, and the new stadium. She has been a vocal proponent of D.C. statehood. She remains focused on closing gaps that make the district more equitable and a safer place to live. And since being elected, her administration has invested more than $2.7 billion in public schools, in career and technical training, and high-impact tutoring. My goodness, Mayor. Also, the construction of a new health corridor is underway right now that supports Wards 7 and 8, and she has remained a committed partner in the development of the new Howard University Hospital and Integrated Academic Medical Center. Let me just say that one more time. I like that. I like the way that sounds. The new Howard University Hospital and Integrated Academic Medical Center. So, a highlight of my first year as president was joining Mayor Bowser in launching an HBCU public service program to provide a talent pipeline that benefits our city and career pathways for students to serve in local government. Mayor Bowser has served on many boards. She is well known throughout the United States. And I have to say a couple of things about her education as well. She completed her undergraduate studies at Chatham University in Pittsburgh, earned a master's degree in public policy from American University. Okay, no, it's not too late. Madam Mayor, for all your accomplishments, I would like to bestow upon you this morning one of the highest honors that I can personally give, which is the President's Medal of Achievement. Mayor. Mayor Bowser.
Well, good morning, Howard University. I want to thank you, Mr. President, Chairman Morse, and the entire Board of Trustees, Reverend Richardson, deans, professors, and members of the university, Howard University students, and alumni. It brings me great pleasure to speak to you today on behalf of 702 Washingtonians. It is indeed my honor to represent them in saying congratulations on 158 years of Black excellence right here in Washington, D.C. We're here during Black History Month, the last day of Black History Month, and who would have thought we would need an economic blackout today? This month and every month, we remember our history, and we're grateful for the father of Black history, the esteemed Howard professor, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. He had a vision and appreciation for the lessons of the world, and he knew that if we didn't appreciate and preserve our own history, we could lose it. And you never know when you're going to need to look to the past for inspiration. And right now, we are looking for inspiration everywhere we can find it. It is necessary to look at the lessons taught by the world's strongmen. And it is important to know that those lessons can repeat themselves. But it's equally important to look at Howard's role in educating the enlightened resistance, in its role in forcing out ignorance and darkness. So in looking back at Howard's history, when it was founded on March 2nd, 1867, in 1867, the promise of Reconstruction was still alive. The 13th Amendment had been the law for just over a year. The 14th Amendment wouldn't become law for another year. And the 15th Amendment was still years away. 3 months before Howard was chartered, African American men in D.C. got the right to vote when Congress overturned President Andrew Johnson's veto of the District of Columbia Suffrage Act. As we've heard, he approved the charter for Howard, but he didn't approve that law. Of course, D.C.'s suffrage would be short-lived, because in 1874, Washington, D.C. became the government city without a city government, when Congress voted to replace D.C.'s elected government with a presidentially appointed board of commissioners. And opponents of Black suffrage jumped at the opportunity to blame African American voters and their leaders for the problems they saw in the district. Sound familiar? Needless to say, there was a lot going on in Washington, D.C. when Howard was chartered. And as I look back, I'm reminded of the wise words of Frederick Douglass, that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. For 158 years, the students, professors, and alumni of Howard University have demanded a stronger democracy and a more perfect union. In every aspect of society, in the law, education, medicine, national politics, local politics, you have pushed us to be a better and stronger America. You have conferred more than 120,000 degrees. You have transformed curious and brilliant young people into leaders who have refused to accept the status quo. You have indeed built a mecca of Black excellence. You won't be surprised that wherever I go in the world, and I'm describing DC, I always say, we are the home of Howard University. And I always hear a big cheer. Today, we stand on the shoulders of students and staff who looked around in 1867 and decades after that, and they said, it's up to us. Students like Thurgood Marshall, who was denied entry at some law school because he was black, then applied to Howard University's law school. He became a Supreme Court justice and worked to dismantle the very systems that denied him access. Students like Elijah Cummings, who after graduating from Howard, he attended the law school that rejected Thurgood Marshall, and then he went on to become an attorney, congressman, and champion for DC statehood from Maryland. Students like Vice President Kamala Harris, who first came to Washington, D.C., to attend Howard. She became elected as senator, attorney general, senator, and vice president. But she never forgot the school that helped shape her worldview and clearly shaped her commitment to truth and service. Alumni like Charles Drew, whose discoveries around blood transfusion saved countless lives in Ward 2 and beyond, and whose daughter, and also Howard alum, Dr. Charlene Drew Jarvis, went on to serve on the D.C. Council, and she helped shape D.C.'s economic power. There are alum like Walter Washington and Sharon Pratt and Adrian Fenty, who were 3 of the 7 elected mayors of Washington, D.C. And it's a legacy of people like my mother, who proudly came to Howard as a wife, a mother of 5, a nurse at the VA, to get her master's degree in nursing. It is that legacy that we celebrate today. More broadly, we recognize the important role that HBCUs play nationwide in defending our democracy. And too frequently, we toss around the phrase, defend our democracy, without pausing on what it really means. It really means that in our nation, we have freedom of speech. We have a free press. We have a system of checks and balances. We have federalism, where states run themselves. We have a republic. You know the rest, as long as we can keep it. From the very first HBCU to HBCUs around our nation, like Fisk, that I mentioned because our mayor for life, Marion Barry, was a graduate before he came to Washington, D.C. For decades, HBCUs have equipped students with the knowledge, skills, and confidence, not just to defend and advance our democracy, but to ensure that Black people have a place in it. And I know that together, we will meet this moment. We will find ourselves in this moment right now and know how to use the skills and the legacy of Howard University to get ahead. I say frequently that people come to Washington, D.C. to change the world, and the same is true for Howard University. As our stories and our histories and our futures are intertwined. You heard the president give me a very gracious introduction. I've had the privilege of being mayor of my hometown for 10 years, and I'm grateful for 10 years of partnership with Howard University. When we asked Howard if we could help, if they could help us launch a HBCU public service program, Howard quickly said yes. This way, we create a pipeline of HBCU graduates into DC government. So I want to thank you for answering the call. When we asked if the Howard University Hospital would partner with our fire department and UDC to establish the first publicly accessible paramedic program, you answered the call. And when I said to the leadership at Howard University, I want to do all that I can to make sure that you continue to educate the most black doctors in the United States of America, you answered the call. So we look forward to our more than $200 million investment, the city, our taxpayers, with you, Howard University, in building that hospital and integrated medical campus. I got it. So indeed, Howard's impact is global, but it's also very local. And it is with your partnership. That story of our city today is much different than the story of 1867. Indeed, the story of our city today is an amazing one. After 50 years of governing ourselves, Washington, D.C.'s finances are the envy of mayors and governors across the country. We have a AAA bond rating, 29 consecutive balanced budgets. After 18 years of mayoral control of our schools with council oversight, we have the fastest improving urban school district in the nation. And just recently, our DCPS fourth graders, now hear me well on this, they scored higher on the National Reading Assessment than their peers nationwide. And notice I said, than their peers, not their urban peers, but all of their peers. We're also the home of 5 R1 universities, including the only HBU to ever hold this Research 1 designation. So President Vinson, please accept my congratulations on this major accomplishment. So it is indeed no wonder that Howard University received more than 40,000 applications for its most recent class. And I'm told that there were less than 3,000 available seats. To which I said to the president, how are we going to grow this amazing university? And today, Washington, D.C. is also growing fast, faster than all 50 states. Our population is back over 700,000. We're bigger than 2 states. They all have senators, and we're working on it. And people aren't just moving here, they're coming to visit too. Last year, we broke our visitation records. People want to live here because we invest in our city. We have the #1 parks. We're experiencing the lowest violent crime we've experienced in 30 years, though we're not satisfied. And everyone should know that we have a world-class public infrastructure system. So indeed, there's more work to do in investing in our sports capital. And I hear that Howard University likes sports too, and that your university swim team earned another title, making history as the only HBCU with the NCAA Division I swim team. And the president also mentioned part of being a world-class city, in addition to having world-class universities, is sports. So investing in our kids, our students, and in bringing the Washington football team back to Washington continues to be one of our priorities. The story of a world-class city is ours, and Howard helped build it. But there's an important part of our story that hasn't changed. the fact that our democracy and freedoms are still vulnerable and still worth fighting for. So if you're looking for hope in this moment, I hope that you will continue to know that the partnership between Howard University and the city is a strong one. We see it in our HBCU pipeline, but I also see it when I look around DC government, and I want to acknowledge members of my cabinet who have joined me, Bison members of my cabinet, some of them, Director Jennifer Porter, Director Dominique Scott, Alexis Lyles, Lopez Matthew, Dora Taylor Lowe, and the woman you see me with all the time is my traveling chief, Jasmine Colton. Please give them a big round of applause. I, too, want to acknowledge any DC government alum who are here at Howard. Show yourself, and I'm going to call out, too, Rashad Young, who was my city administrator, and Dr. Roger Mitchell. So with that, I'll take my seat, but I'll say thank you, and let's stay in this. We should all remember that as we're celebrating today, and rightfully so, think about all of the people in our community and across the country whose lives have been disrupted by no fault of their own, and know that we're keeping them in our hearts, and we're going to fight for them too. So thank you all very much.